You are a TV personality, a TV host, you're an actress, you're a businesswoman, you've got it all going on. So how do you describe yourself? Like if you had a little business card, how would you explain your livelihood today?
Does it have to be in a few words, or can I like share a little bit about my background?
Take the time, yes.
Okay, so where do I begin? Okay, I've always been super interested in fashion and beauty. Growing up in the Simmons household, philanthropy, fashion, entrepreneurship has always been really prevalent. So I've always wanted to contribute to these industries. I've always been super interested in it. So let's start from the beginning. At 16 years old, I entered my first pageant. And over the course of 10 years, I was signed as a Ford model, blessed enough to be Miss New York United States team, and had an opportunity to travel to China at 19 to represent the United States at the Miss Model of the World pageant. So these were really, really great moments for me growing up and really kind of gave me my ambition. I did all of that while studying at St. John's University, attaining a degree in communications and business. After I graduated from St. John's, I started filming a little show on MTV called Friend's House. It was a show that chronicled my family's life and gave viewers a peek into the crazy Simmons home. In 2008,
Give it up for that show. I love that show.
Thank you.
Back in the day. Okay.
Okay. In 2008, I feel like my entrepreneurial journey really began. My sister and I landed a spin-off show called Daddy's Girls, and we gave viewers a peek into us starting a shoe line. Now the thing is, we saw a void in the market. There were no sneakers that were made for girls. Like, we love sneakers, but there was no sneakers that were like catered to us. So I said, okay, let's try to do something here. We designed 4 sneakers called the Cake Runner Collection. I remember the names like it was yesterday: Sprinkles, Red Velvet, Strawberry Shortcake, and Chocolate Mousse. And when we released these sneakers, they sold out past our wildest imaginations, and the next thing you know, we were creative directors of this huge lifestyle brand. We were designing everything from clothes to sneakers, children's sneakers, and even had a really amazing opportunity to work with Mattel and create our own pastry Barbies, which was like the icing on the cake, no pun intended, of like, wow, we're really building something here. It was sold in over 15 countries and ended up grossing over $75 million in sales. Complete surreal experience. Like, I remember when we were building, I was like, what if we were to make $100 million? Like, so 75 was way past what we expected. And while I was doing that, I've always had dreams of being an actress. So while I was in LA filming Daddy's Girls, I took advantage of the environment and everything that LA has to offer. And I took tons of acting classes and ended up securing an agent. And from there, I secured roles on The Guiding Light, some TV projects, and independent movie roles, and even ended up being the host of Project Runway Threads, which was like so surreal. Never in my life did I imagine I'd be able to work alongside such an amazing family. Project Runway is like the oracle of fashion. So it was amazing to be able to have that opportunity and work alongside the future of fashion. I really do think kids are the future, and these kids were so amazing. So fast forward to today. I am a mother of a 2-year-old, Ava Marie. I'm currently building a lifestyle website, VanessaJSimmons.com, which is meant to empower women through all facets: beauty, fashion, fitness, inspiration. You know, I just want women to be all that they can be. I want them to be able to be the most beautiful they can be, the most fit they can be, the most business savvy they can be. Just overall wanting to give women a definite voice in society and know that they can achieve anything that they want to achieve. And I feel like that's what my purpose is here on earth, is to empower other women. I just wrapped up on a show 2 weeks ago called Queen Boss, which is kind of like a mashup of Shark Tank meets The Apprentice, but it's all geared towards empowering female entrepreneurs and picking one brand to kind of help build into a global brand. So that's what I feel like my purpose here on earth is to empower women and really help give them a voice and identity in this world. And that's why I'm here with you guys today.
We like that. That deserves a clap for sure. Wow, so inspirational. And gosh, you've done a lot. I'm feeling very inadequate now. You have quite already, I mean, you have accomplished so much and you've had so many milestones and so many different points of success along the way. At what point did you decide that, you know, a blog and a website and this way to reach women and to have this platform, when did you know that it was time for that?
Well, I feel like I had a responsibility because I had a really large social following on Instagram and Twitter, and I would get questions all the time, like, what are you using? How can I be inspired? You know, all different types of questions that I was like, okay, how can I answer these questions in a more meaningful way and really connect with my supporters? I want to give them something back for all of the support. So I started creating these self-produced videos that really touched on inspiring everyone from beauty, fitness, fashion, all of those lanes. And I felt it was like my responsibility to kind of help out and give back for all the support I've received over the years.
There's so many people here today who are just launching their blogs or their websites. They're trying to figure out that social media audience and how to reach people. So are you self-taught in this arena, or where did you gain the knowledge you needed to pull it off?
I'm getting inspiration from you guys. You know, you're out there, you've been blogging, you've been doing this for a long time. So I do my research in the way of using the internet because it's there and you guys are so amazing. And I want to be able to inspire them. So I'm getting inspired by you guys and you guys' story, and I always suggest that to people who are building. Be inspired by your peers. See what's going on. See how their story can relate to you and how you can help back with it. I feel like that's the point of blogging and the content. It's really about what you can give to other people and what people take from that.
It's such an exchange. That's the coolest part about digital, isn't it? I mean, I've been on TV for 20 years, but I always felt like it was one-way traffic. I was just barking out and through the lens, but I love blogging for that reason because it's a community, and it's a give and it's a take, and you can share. That's one of my favorite things about the blogging world and the internet in general.
Absolutely. And I feel like, you know, people are always concerned if they don't have a lot of followers when they start, or, you know, the visibility isn't there. I feel like I want to recommend to you guys to, like, just keep doing what you're doing, keep creating that content, because essentially that is your intellectual property. That is your business. It doesn't matter how many views and hits you're getting at first, it will grow. If you're creating content that's from your heart and you're giving back to people, the viewers are gonna come. But you have to build that content, you have to get that knowledge and information out there, you have to be networking and just keep giving. Even if it feels like, you know, you're yelling into an empty subway station and you're like, is anyone out there? Can you hear me? Just keep creating, and your story will eventually get out there and people will respect that, see that, really relate with that, and that's where the following really comes from.
And that story, we've heard people speak a lot today about being you, be the best version of you, and why authenticity is so important. So how would you encourage people to share their story? Because a lot of people think, ooh, you know, they look up to this blogger, maybe I should do more like she's doing, or maybe I should copy so-and-so. Why is it so important to just stick to your you-ness? Was that Dr. Seuss or something? Nobody's better than the you.
Yeah, that's Dr. Seuss,
okay.
I know.
Yeah, anyway.
Baby and all.
Yeah,
yeah, it's important to be yourself because that's where people are going to relate. People relate to authenticity and you being yourself. You can't relate to someone trying to act like they're someone else because it's like, something's just not sticking. There's no message there because it's not you. People want to see you, and don't be afraid to tell your story. You can be inspiring people by telling something that you think is embarrassing to you or you feel like is a flaw. You never know who's out there that really needs to hear that, and it can honestly change their world, change their perspective on themselves. So it's so important to be authentically you. You can be inspired by this. I'm inspired by so many people, but it's important to put your own like stank on it. You know, just make sure people see you, because that's when people are like, oh my God, I love this person. I love what they stand for. You have to really make sure that your words are heard and it's authentically you. Authenticity is actually the biggest key to blogging and fashion and beauty.
And how about those mentors for you and the women that you've looked up to, men or women who have kind of inspired you along the way? Anybody we know?
Well, I was so blessed to be around when my uncle's wife started Baby Fat and watch her build this brand from t-shirts. And I'm like, wow, this is so amazing. But what worked so well about Baby Fat is that she was herself. And she was unapologetically herself. And that's important. And she really inspired me. Her company inspired me. Just everything about her inspired me. So she was definitely a huge influence on me growing up, and definitely helped to shape the woman that I am today, just by her being herself and building something that she knew was bigger than her.
Sometimes we just need permission to be ourselves. I think we sometimes carry around like the shoulds, who we should be, who, you know, we're told to be.
Yeah.
But isn't it nice to just go? My mom and I were just talking about that over tea an hour ago during the kind of break we didn't really have. But I was saying, I was like, God, it feels really good when you get to that point and you know, sometimes we're almost born that way,
yeah.
But then we regress a little, and then eventually it's nice to come back around and go, like I'm just doing me, I'm not gonna apologize for it, I have permission to just let it all out, as it is, without the judgment and judge all day, but I'm just gonna do me.
Yeah, you can't worry about the judgment. It's all about just being yourself, and you will feel so confident if you really give yourself permission. Like Catt was saying, you don't need permission from anyone to be yourself. You just have to give yourself that permission, and oh my gosh, once you give yourself that permission and that freedom, so many amazing things will flow. Your creativity will be there, everything will just be better, and you'll be more confident in yourself.
Something tells me you've never lacked in confidence, Miss Universe.
No.
All those things, all those accolades that you got though, and you were in pageants, and you have had so many successes along the way with your shoe brand you just shared with us. What has most contributed to those successes, do you think? If you have some key ingredients that you can share with everybody here that might help.
Yeah, actually, I've had some failures. You know, of course, in like when I'm explaining my bio, I tell my highlight reel, but it's my failures and the things that when I was down that have really made me a stronger businesswoman. And it's really hard when you're going through that and things are not going your way and you're like, man, I don't think this is gonna work out. I should just give up. This is not for me. I've had really hard times, and in those moments, I've just had to retreat, pull myself back, and really be like, okay, how can I make this business plan better? How can I be offering myself more to people? How can I make myself stronger? It's really in those down moments that contribute to making your overall success. And you shouldn't be afraid of failure. A lot of people are afraid of failure. It doesn't feel good to not get, you know, what you imagined. But in retrospect, when you look back, you're like, okay, you're able to really take those mistakes and make them into jewels and growing your brand, growing yourself as a person, and just overall, just building yourself. It's about those mistakes. And yeah, like I said, like my little bio sounded all like, you know, glitz and glamour and all of that, but oh my God, it's the times when I was down the most and the times when things weren't working out that really contributed to the businesswoman that I am today, and I'm still striving and building towards. Like, I don't have it all together. I'm still trying to build. I'm still trying to build new companies, but it's the mistakes that really helped me along the way. It's okay to fall.
What are some of those new companies you're working on? Can you share with us kind of your vision for your future and what you're doing?
Well, yeah, like I was saying, it's all about, for me, giving back to women and really empowering them, encouraging them. Going full circle with pageants, I am now a creative director and part owner of Miss Teenage California, which is a scholarship pageant that awards young women with thousands of dollars in scholarship funds every year. Now, this is my first year on board, and we just crowned our winner in 2016. We are in 2016, in May. And she got $25,000 to a school of her choice. And the pageant is really based around the individual. It's not about swimsuit, it's not about who's the most beautiful, it's about who's the most driven and who really wants to take their lives somewhere. And that's really what we look for, and that messaging was really important to me. Because pageants can sometimes get a bad rap. And that's not what I represent. I really want to represent forward building, goal-oriented life for young women. And so yeah, that's a project of mine and a very important one. And VanessaJSimmons.com, I was saying, is my other business that I'm trying to get off the ground. It's the website platform. And I'm really excited to share that stuff with you because I'm just looking forward to people being inspired. more than the e-commerce platform, which is a big part to me, you know, doing my designing work. It's what people can take away from the site for me and how I can add value to everyone. And yeah, that's really my big message.
You know what I love on your bio, or maybe it's your Instagram or Twitter or somewhere, but I have a similar thing where the very first thing in my list of things is mother. And you are a mother to, as you mentioned, your new daughter, and wow, I mean, that's, as we moms know, that is a full-time times 1,000 job in and of itself. So how has being a new mom informed you in the way you conduct your life, and then how you get out of bed every day, and how are you balancing, you know, a little toddler over here when you're trying to change the world?
It's definitely difficult, but honestly, she has been my inspiration behind everything I do. I honestly just want to give her something positive to look up to, and I want to represent myself in the best way possible so that when she grows up, she knows that I stood for something and she has a good example. So she's really the inspiration behind everything that I do today. It's definitely changed my perspective, making me a lot more patient. Because being from New York, we're not so patient, but she's made me a lot more patient, and she's just my light. She has definitely inspired everything that I do. And it definitely does take a very delicate balance being a mom and trying to run the world, like you said. It's all about focus and your goals and balancing it, because I do have a lot going on, but I would never want someone else raising my daughter. I want to be present there for her. So it's about a balance. Some days I go, you know what, I love that project, but I can't do it because it's the day that I have to go take my daughter to ballet, or it's the day where it's her first day at her little preschool, and that's the moments that I live for. So it's about balance, and sometimes, yes, sacrifice, which isn't so easy, but in the big, grand scheme of things, that's the most important to me.
Where do you go to find your still, you know, whether you're a parent or not? Like so many of us, a lot of people here were saying earlier, they're like, they have 3 jobs. They're trying to hold down a job, pay for their rent, blog on the side, you know, just keep all the balls in the air. How do you decompress? How do you find your inner kind of stillness to keep you focused and sane?
Yeah, it's really hard. But I think that it's very important to always take me time. Whether it's for 2 hours during the day, take yourself on a date. I love the spa personally, or if I can't make it into a spa, give myself some time to take a bath at home and just really spend time with yourself, check in with yourself, see what's going on in your head, you know, maybe not think about work at all. Stop thinking about that, because I know when you're trying to do so much, it's hard to get the work out of your head, but we have to do that in order to grow and to stay sane, yes. You need to take me time, so I definitely recommend it at least once a week, 2 hours, 1 hour, take yourself on a date, do something that's just strictly for yourself.
We know you're such a family person, and the world got to know you on television originally. Is it always a blessing to kind of be associated with a well-known family, or is it sometimes like, oh, has it ever been a detractor for you where it's like, wait, I want to do this on my own, not my name?
Absolutely. It's a lot of pressure. So I definitely felt pressure growing up, but the way I alleviated that pressure was just like, you can only do your best. My dad's best advice that he gives to me, and the one that sticks out in my head the most, is, Vanessa, you have to do your best and forget the rest. That is all you can do. You cannot give any more of yourself that's not there. All you can do is do your best. Forget the rest. And it helps alleviate so much stress. I can feel my shoulders just dropping when I said that.
Such good advice. Did we write that one down? Hashtag do your best, forget the rest. Thank you, that's a good one. Okay, well, I know you guys have questions for Vanessa, so we can take a couple now. Is the spare mic available, or do you want this one to pass around? Okay, who's got a question for Vanessa? Don't be shy, guys. Come on, somebody's got a question.
I have a question.
I knew it.
Maybe we can hear you. It's small. There's less people in here.
My name's Leslie. I'm a model agent. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing French Connection. I was styled by my stylist right here, sitting in the front row. She helped me out.
She's got good style. I noticed those Gucci loafers. Don't think I didn't. Right? Am I right? In red, those look real good. Real good. So you do have help in that realm. And when you did launch, or you have launched your website? It's coming.
We are launching in a few weeks.
Okay, it's coming in a few weeks. Is it, I know the overall message is like connecting with women and empowering them and whatnot, but is it fashion focused?
Oh yeah, it's definitely fashion focused. So the e-commerce side of it, I have started partnering with other brands and getting back into fashion. So there'll be a number of different collections that will be featured there on the site.
Okay, so do you collaborate? Because I know with all that you're doing and being a mom of that, how many people are on your team and who helps you to get this out there?
I do have a great team right here, but for me, collaboration is so key. So I am going into these companies and I want to learn something from them. I don't want to just come in and be like, hey, I want to do a collection. I go to brands that I admire and I love what they do, and I want to literally collaborate. How can we make something great together? So collaboration is definitely really important for me.
How would you advise people to make those connections and relationships? Because we heard from the blogger panel earlier, and it's hard for a lot of people to get in the door. What would you say?
I would say that you definitely have to put yourself out there and network. And it can be really scary sometimes to go into a room and put yourself out there and just talk to people you don't know. But I suggest looking up the events that are around in your town or wherever you're located. And don't take a friend, go alone, because it'll be more inclined to talk and actually meet people and make some genuine connections. It doesn't always have to be about like, oh, this person may do business with me, or we may work together, but maybe you'll be inspired by their story. It'll help you in some way. Maybe you will meet a partner that will help you along your journey. But networking is so key, and honestly, it's something that I had a hard time with for a long time, because I would go to events, I would get a little shy and just have a drink by the bar and observe, but that's not really achieving anything. It really is beneficial to get out there, to talk to other people, to just put yourself out there and say, hey, my name is Vanessa, what do you do? Be interested in other people's stories, and connecting with your peers and people in your field is so important, and I feel like it's definitely a way to help you grow in your field.
Got another question right here.
Hi, I'm Shayna. And my question is, particularly as a woman of color, you have been in entertainment for a number of years, not just from your father, but for what you have done. What are some advice you give to other young women of color, regardless of the fashion, beauty, TV, whatever? What are some advice for empowerment of us? Because sometimes being a woman of color and having some sort of stance in the industry it's very hard, and not be placed in one sort of box.
Yeah, I think that it goes back to talking about just being authentically you. Because there's always someone out there that's looking to relate to you in some way. So, like I said, even if it feels like you're just yelling into an empty subway station, like, you have to be you have to put your story out there, and you have to keep going. And the thing with, people will try to put you into a box. It's important to take the constructive criticism out of what they're saying and apply that, and leave behind the ignorance, or leave behind, what you find is negative, and just applying what was constructive they said, and keep going on your path. Because if you keep going, you will not fail. Now, if you quit, then we're talking failure. But if you just keep going, there's no such thing as failure. And just keep putting your story out there. Keep going. Keep finding people that you can network with, that you can partner with, that you can join forces with, and really get your story out there and get heard. Because there are people looking to be inspired, especially being a woman of color. We need each other. We need to empower each other. We need to not be in competition with each other, but empowering each other. So it's the story. If your story is out there and you just keep doing it, you will not fail. People need to hear that.
Thought I saw another hand right before your question. Go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Latoya, I'm a fashion stylist. I have a quick question. I heard you mention that you're a mogul, you've done it all. On days when you feel like really burnt out and you're like, I can't do this, I'm gonna quit. What do you do to just reinvent yourself or just refresh yourself? Any advice you could give on those days when you feel like burnt out and you're not getting anywhere, you're hitting a wall?
Yeah.
Any advice you have that you share?
Well, my personal suggestion is just to take a break.
Yeah.
And not a long break, you're not giving up, but take a breather. Sometimes it helps to take a step back and see what was going on so that you can come back with a fresh mind and reassess everything. Replan, rebrand, whatever it is. Like, there's no mistake that's too great that you can't come back from as long as you learn the lesson from it. So on those days when you feel burnt out, it's because maybe you've been going too hard. Maybe you've been putting too much thought into it, and it just takes a moment to step back. And then that creativity will slip right back in. You're able to go at it hard again.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Down here? Go ahead.
Sorry. I am a new video blogger, and my focus is on helping moms find their inner passion girl, their inner big girl, because as you know, we can kind of get really bogged down and stressed by just the overwhelming nature of what we're doing.
Yeah.
I have 2 little boy toddlers. And one thing that I've found is that I'm struggling with finding the time to do the 7 things that are all priority. They're all equal in importance, but I just can't do them all.
Yeah.
So what kind of either services, software, people that you put around you that you use in order to make mommy time kind of balance out with what, mom loves like?
Well, for myself, at the beginning of every week, I just have this little notebook that I've been writing in all year. And every day I wake up and I go, okay, so we can't take over the world in one day. What's important to me today? What needs to be done? And I jot down those goals, whether it's 3 things or 4 things, and then I'm factoring in my baby as well, because it's so important that we're there and we're spending time with them. So for me, the balance really comes in the organization of my goals. We don't have to make big leaps every single day, but even those little tiny steps help towards the bigger picture. So I think that prioritizing exactly what needs to be done instead of trying to do everything all at once really helps alleviate the pressure for me personally. And I've shared with some of my other mommy friends, and we have a little club and we all meet up so we can empower each other. Sometimes that helps, having others around you that have like minds, or have children as well and are trying to achieve things that are similar, kind of motivate and encourage each other.
And I would even add to that, because it's interesting for all of you that are here, you want to achieve, we're driven, right? We want to go out and grab stuff, but when you're a mom, I think by our nature, we just want to get it all done. We all want to get everything organized and everything in all of our ducks in a row. Something that's been hard for me is asking for help. I am so bad at that, and I think I got this, and we take on everything ourselves, but that has helped me personally, is just not being afraid. Sometimes I don't even call my mom. She's like, Mom, why didn't you call me? I'm like, I got it all figured out. So just don't forget the people that are around you in your circle that are there to help you anyway, and take some of that load when you need to share it with somebody. Any other people? She has questions. Hi.
Hi, I'm Asia. With that being said, you and Angela took up to do pastry. Would you guys ever consider taking up to do maybe like a baby thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm very blessed to be able to go through the motherhood journey with my sister, and I think definitely it's something that we may consider. But her baby's just a month old now, and she's adjusting to becoming a new mom, and we're going back and forth with like advice and all that fun stuff. So definitely could be something there in the future for sure.
Any last question? We have time for one more. Awesome.
Hi. My question is, you said it's okay to fail. My question is, how do you know when it's time to give up that project?
It's not ever that you should give up. If something's not working out in a way that you planned, I think it's always important to go back and be like, okay, what were the mistakes I made? Was I too hasty? Were the goals not clear enough? Or, what was the missing link? And to just always come back and rebrand what you're doing if it's not working that way. It's always important to come back and just look at your goals. Okay, say, I didn't make this, but how can I make it work? And I feel like that can work by just really reassessing everything you're doing. I don't ever think that you should give up on yourself or your projects. It just may take some restructuring, a new partner to come in that can help you. I never like to tell people to give up, because it's not something that's in my personal model. I would just rebrand.
Sometimes you fail when people tell you do, when you don't get that job or something, you know, they decide for you, and that isn't nice. But every single, I feel like almost everyone that's spoken today has said there's so much value. It's like a dirty word, fail, but when you do, there's value in it because you learn from it and you turn it around and you're resilient, and that's how we're all made. And then we keep it moving, and then we go, oh yeah, remember when I did that?
Yeah.
Now that makes sense in hindsight. There's always a lesson.
There's always a lesson. There's always a different avenue that you can approach it through. Like, I have this one thing I made up years ago when I was trying to build my business, and I was like, okay, so I can see you can expect a lot of no's in this business, but you should never accept them. They're gonna come along, it's gonna suck, may not feel so good, but just don't accept those no's. Find a way to turn that no into a yes. It might be through a different avenue than you expected, but just don't accept that no. Find a different way to make it work.
You're so inspiring. This is so exciting. We can't wait for your website. So much knowledge, so much wisdom. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you guys for
Give her a round of applause. Good stuff.
Hey guys, thanks for watching and so glad that you're here. You could just take a moment and subscribe to our channel. You can do it by clicking here, over here, over here, or wherever that subscribe button is. Just click it. You'll get everything directly sent to you, first to know of all things Simply Stylist. Thank you so much, and if you don't, this dog is coming after you.